gentlemen, we are thrilled to have you join us as we present a hand-picked selection of fintech startups from Central and Eastern Europe, the Middle East, and Africa. These incredibly talented entrepreneurs will compete to win a remarkable prize pool of $30,000. Our distinguished panel of judges, representing both the startup community and Visa, will have the challenging task of selecting the deserving winners. It's time to launch the Visa Everywhere Initiative 2023 Regional Finals. Here's your host, Alex McRae, Vice President, Head of Digital Partnerships and Ventures Central and Eastern Europe, Middle East, and Africa.
Hello everyone, my name is Alex McRae and I'll be your host for this exceptional edition of the 2023 CEMEA Visa Everywhere Initiative. We're really excited to have you tune in today. Visa has selected an impressive cohort of startups and fintechs, all of which are doing groundbreaking work in Central and Eastern Europe, Middle East and Africa. These companies are poised to change the world of payments and solve the challenges of tomorrow. But before we get into the excitement, let us welcome Andrew Torre, Regional President for Central and Eastern Europe, Middle East and Africa at Visa, to share some opening remarks. Welcome, Andrew.
Thank you, Alex. Welcome everyone to the 2023 edition of the CEMEA Visa Everywhere Initiative. We launched the Visa Everywhere Initiative in 2015, and since then we've helped thousands of startups from over 100 countries raise collectively over $16 billion in capital, which really addresses one of the greatest needs of startups and fintechs from around the globe. Why did we start the Visa Everywhere Initiative, and why does it matter to us, and why are we so committed to supporting entrepreneurs around the world? Well, it's much more than about a single competition. It's about providing access to digital financial services that are vital to help communities and economies grow. In CEMEA itself, in our region, there are over 700 million consumers and 60 million sellers that are financially excluded. And at Visa, we believe equitable access to the digital economy is an absolute priority for sustainable economic growth. And fintechs and startups are at the forefront of shaping the future of our entire ecosystem. In addition to the Visa Everywhere initiatives, we have a series of programs to support fintechs at every stage of their operating life, from our FinTech Fast Track program to our FinTech Partner Connect and our Visa Ready to Launch. Visa Everywhere Initiative FinTech program participants can make a big difference on social impact. Let's just look at a few of our past winners to give you a glimpse of what it can mean. Last year's global winner and Nigeria's startup Thrive Agric enables financial inclusion and food security in Africa. They've had the bold task of digitizing the farmer's entire value chain. And over the past 5 years, they've dispersed over $100 million in financing to over 500,000 farmers. Thrive Agric helps with everything from mapping farmers' lands to onboarding to recording valuable harvest data and helping them manage their inventory. The Visa Everywhere initiative is just the first step in our startup engagement. For example, we signed a 5-year partnership just recently with WeCashUp, who is a Visa Everywhere Initiative alumnus and is now the largest Pan-African payment gateway that enables e-commerce across 36 countries. Today, we will see 5 of the region's most innovative startups compete for the CEMEA title. Among our finalists are winners of the 3 regional competitions that took place last month in Saudi Arabia, in Kenya, and in South Africa. We've also introduced 2 new prizes to this year's CEMEA edition. The first is around impact. It's a $10,000 prize that has been granted to participants in the local VEI competitions that we recently held in Saudi Arabia, Kenya, and South Africa. And it goes to those that have provided or will provide a positive social or environmental impact in the communities in which they operate. The second, which we're also really excited, is around risk. It is a $25,000 prize generously supported by our partner Emirates NBT Group, which will be awarded to a solution which includes a security element with the potential to transform payments. I'm personally excited to see this year's competition brings and to hear from our finalists on the payments, products, and solutions that they believe can revolutionize today's payments and commerce landscape. I also want to thank all of you for joining us. I want to take this opportunity to thank our esteemed panel of judges, We have Karine Kiame, who's the Chief Investment Officer for IM Funding, Oleg Garachovsky, who's the CEO and founder of Monobank, Abdullah Al-Tuwaijri, who's the CEO of Private Consumer and Digital for Boubion Bank, Otto Williams, who's our Head of Solutions for CEMEA, and Leila Sirhan, who's our SVP and Group Country Manager for North Africa, Levant, and Pakistan. So let's get started.
Thank you, Andrew, for those welcoming words. Now I want to introduce you to our esteemed judges. Oleg Garachovsky, CEO and co-founder Monobank. Karine Kiame, the president of the Lebanese League for Women in Business. Abdullah Al-Tuwaijri, Chief Executive Officer, Consumer, Private and Digital Banking, Boubion Bank. And from Visa, Otto Williams, Senior Vice President, Head of Product, Partnerships and Digital Solutions, Central and Eastern Europe, Middle East and Africa. And Leila Sirhan, Senior Vice President and General Manager, North Africa, Levant and Pakistan. We're really excited that you could join us today, and I don't envy your job of having to select the winner from this impressive list of fintechs. Next, introducing our 5 finalists. Chibuzo Apara of Drugstock, Mohamed Zagu of Amworld Tech, Kayode Dasu of Vendi, Brian McQuaber of Vileka, Nelson Asika of iFluence. A big round of virtual applause for our judges and finalists. Each of our 5 finalists will have 4 minutes to pitch. This will then be followed by 4 minutes of Q&A with our judges. Startups will be judged on the following key criteria: solution and pitch presentation, Visa partnership opportunities, desirability and uniqueness, and finally, feasibility of the product or solution. Once all startups have pitched, the judges will deliberate privately and select the overall winner, who will receive $20,000 in prize money and pitch at the global finals in San Francisco in September. For those watching virtually in the audience today, welcome. Thank you for joining us. You'll also have an important job, as you'll have the opportunity to vote and decide on the audience favorite, who will also receive $10,000 in prize money. So please make sure you stay tuned for the full event. Once all 5 startups have pitched, a QR code will pop up on your screen with instructions on how to cast your vote. You will have 2 minutes to cast your vote, so please stay ready. As the judges deliberate later in the show, we'll have a thrilling announcement in store for you. Today marks the groundbreaking moment for the Visa Everywhere initiative as we proudly unveil the first ever Risk Award. This award carries an exceptional prize of $25,000. Keep watching to discover more about this award and find out who will be honored as the very first ever global risk winner. So now to the moment you've all been waiting for. Let's get ready to start the pitches. First up, I want to give a warm welcome to Chibuzo Apara of Drugstock. Drugstock are democratizing access and affordability to quality pharmaceutical products and have built an exciting farm tech platform providing embedded financial services for the healthcare industry. Over to you, Chibuzo. Best of luck with your pitch.
Hi everybody, my name is Chibuzo Apara, co-founder and CEO of Drugstock. Drugstock is a tech-enabled pharmaceutical platform that is connecting manufacturers of good quality pharmaceutical products to hospitals and pharmacies. But before I tell you the story of Drugstock, let me tell you a personal story of mine. See, about 20 odd years ago, I'd just gotten back from work and my cousin bangs on my door, rushes in, grabs me to go see a close family relative of ours who was having difficulty in breathing. At the time, as a young medical doctor, I looked at him and realized that he needed to be taken to the hospital. Got to the hospital, was seen by the doctor, and at the time we didn't know that he was having a pulmonary embolism, and what he needed was some vasodilators and strong painkillers. He was given a prescription. 8 hours later, we still hadn't satisfied it, and he passed on. As sad as this story sounds, This is a story all too common with a lot of African families. And hospitals and pharmacies in sub-Saharan Africa struggle with access to good quality pharmaceutical products in the supply chain. Yemi, navigating the pharmaceutical supply chain as a medical doctor is a story of fragmentation. Affordability, scalability issues, stockouts are key issues that plague his access of pharmaceutical products for his patients. At Drugstock, we're solving this challenge by creating digital channels between manufacturers and hospitals and pharmacies. Last year alone, we saved doctors like Yemi over 1.56 million man hours and enabled them to become more efficient and cost effective in their practices. We see this challenge of fragmentation in supply chain space as one that as a $100 billion opportunity that can be exploited to the benefit of sub-Saharan Africans. Last year alone, we did over $7 million in embedded financing through our platform, serviced over 22 million prescriptions, and had over 4,000 buyers on our platform. On our platform, we see this opportunity to collaborate with Visa to service the supply chain platform, bringing efficiency and services to sub-Saharan Africans. The first opportunity that we see is creating a one-stop shop where we can automate, virtualize, and integrate our supply chain services on our platform and create an end-to-end solution using Visa Direct and the Visa Acceptance Cloud to enable payments and the fulfillment of supply chain services throughout the sub-Saharan African space, creating efficiencies in access for patients, hospitals, and pharmacies alike. The second solution is one where we see that we can deploy the Visa card and the Visa payment processing service to eliminate over $10 billion in checks and exclusionary healthcare spending. Over the next 4 years, this partnership will do over $50 million in transactions, 120 million prescriptions, and expand to over 4 countries. Join us as we change the narrative for 1 billion sub-Saharan Africans, ensuring that Dr. Yemi can satisfy his patients, and folks like my family members and people like them will never have to suffer from a fragmented pharmaceutical supply chain. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Chibuzo. That was a great pitch. Healthcare is a critically important sector for us all, and I really hope we can help doctors like Yemi by transforming the pharmaceutical supply chain. Now over to our judges for the first set of Q&A. Otto, can I start with you, please? Any questions for Chibuzo?
Absolutely, Chibuzo. Thank you for that pitch. I think that this is incredible and solves a real pain point across sub-Saharan Africa. So it does sound like your business model is B2B, correct, and not direct to consumer. Can you tell us a little bit about how you make money, what your revenue model is, and what kind of margins you make from these drugs that you source for your B2B customers?
Thank you, Otto. So yes, it is a B2B business. And the business model is essentially that hospitals and pharmacies can log onto our platform, place an order, and we deliver the product within 24 hours in primary cities and 3 to 5 days in secondary cities. We take a 10 to 12, 13% margin on the product and a further 3% for people who use our embedded finance product.
Thank you.
Abdullah, any questions for Chibuzo?
Yeah, great presentation. Thank you. What's your strategy for distribution and signing up suppliers? I mean, and what's your onboarding strategy? I mean, how do you prevent potential fraud? I mean, somebody can sign up to your platform and sell or don't sell even products or sell maybe fraudulent products. So how do you prevent fraud?
Thank you very much, Abdallah. That's a great question. So today, what we do when we're onboarding clients, first of all, you have to be registered by the regulatory authorities. So we do a documentary audit on your registration documents by the National Pharmaceutical Council authorities in each country. We also do a certificate of analysis. Yeah, when the product is coming to through our fulfillment centers, they have to come with their certificate of analysis through the before they get into our supply chain. We're also ISO certified, ISO 9001 2015 for good distribution practice and quality management services. We've passed the audit 4 years in a row. So we're very big on quality. We have a full quality and audit department for products. We also check batch to batch. We do random samples on products that come through our fulfillment centers. For us, most of my co-founder and I, we have healthcare backgrounds. This question that you asked is the primary reason why we started and are in the business. So it's something that we hold very dear to our hearts. But thank you for the question.
Leila, any questions for Chibuzo?
Sure. Hi, Chibuzo. Great presentation. Thank you very much. And I think healthcare and health tech is a great opportunity, and you displayed it very well. I wanted to ask a little bit more about the partnership with Visa, and how do you see actually Visa playing in your future plans?
Thank you, Leila. So essentially, the product we're looking at with the Visa Acceptance Cloud and the Visa Direct is one where the payments rails and infrastructure from Visa are integrated into our platform. So our product, we have a core product, which is an e-commerce product. Hospitals and pharmacies log in, purchase. But then we have the embedded finance product, Drugstock Pay, and we have the inventory management solution, which is cloud-based. So we'd want to integrate the payment infrastructure directly into all of this, ensuring that these products all are one, and the payment infrastructure is fused into that. So it makes payments faster, easier, and we can do a lot across the entire channels where these products are deployed. Then for the card and the Visa payment processing, I think that just opens up a whole world of opportunities in terms of how you make the payments flexible. So some of the challenges that businesses face is that a pharmacy or hospital might collect their monies in a certain way, but then the suppliers want their monies, big chunks of payments that are wired, and businesses don't operate like that. So matching the flows of the payments across the different supply chain stakeholders and actors, and being able to somewhat, because we're the biggest player with inventory and cash flows, somewhat manage that, make it smooth, so the supplier feels like it's a smooth flow of money and inventory, while the retailer doesn't feel so stressed. That way the client then feels like, oh my God, like I'm able to do so much, but it's just a little tweak to the flows of money and inventory. Thank you.
All right, thank you, judges. That's your 4 minutes up. Chibuzo, you can go ahead and relax. Thanks again for your pitch.
Thank you, Alex. It was great.
Next up, it's my pleasure to welcome Mohamed Zaghou of Amwal Tech, an emerging leader in strong authentication, identity orchestration, and frictionless payment solutions. Amwal Tech earned their place in today's CEMEA regional finals by winning the Saudi Arabia finals back in June. Mohamed, over to you, and good luck with your pitch.
Hello, everyone. This is Mohamed Zaghou from Amwal Tech, and we're on a mission to transform the way payments gets authenticated online, starting with e-commerce. Fatma is my wife. She's a fresh grad. She just started working at the university, and she wants to buy a reading sofa. And like many of us, she really doesn't have time to buy online. Her problems is that she often churns or abandons her purchases, mainly because of two reasons. The first one is that the process right now for e-commerce is really frictional. It takes on average 21 clicks to complete an online purchase. The second problem is that there's a lot of fraud risk inherited into the process of entering sensitive information like your address details, billing information, and most importantly, card information manually online. One of her best friends actually lost her salary advance because of a fraudulent transaction that happens on her debit card, which makes her really scared to engage in the process. Fatma's problems are not unique. 55% of shoppers worldwide would actually abandon their cart if they have to manually re-enter their card and shipping details. And then because of people afraid to do that, there is also authentication and fraud risk. And this happens that 52% of orders that are declined by the issuers because of fraud, suspicion of fraud, were actually good orders to fill. Opportunity here is massive. It means that $90 billion of lost sales from e-commerce transactions are actually because of friction in e-commerce authentication and identity. And if we can solve this, even 10, 15% will result in average billions of dollars for merchants, and of course, a lot of benefits for all the stakeholders like the issuers and the networks. Our solution for this problem is introducing the world's first web biometric click checkout, the fastest checkout in the world, achieving all the hallmark of secure authentications online. So we take the user's information, their identity, meaning their billing information, their phone numbers, their email address, and their card information, and then we combine them in a token, and this token gets encrypted in their device. And then once this token is encrypted in the device, we bind the device with the token with the user's biometrics. And the user is able to use their Face ID or fingerprint to just unlock this token and pay in about 8 seconds. This is how the solution actually looks like. So if you're looking at the left, this is Fatma's card checkout process. As I said, a lot of fields they have to fill. The process takes on average 2 minutes. The way she has to authenticate her information is actually using passwords and OTP. And on the right, you're seeing what her current checkout journey will be if she actually uses them well. 0 field that she has to use, about 8 seconds. Only they need to do, it just enters her biometric information, Face ID or fingerprint or device ID, and the token reveals all the encrypted information right there. We launched it 6 months ago in Saudi Arabia as a pilot market where we're actually licensed. We have almost 25 merchants and a growing network of 60,000 users. That's growing 13% month over month. The process for the users is 10x faster. Of course, for the merchants, the main value add is the increase in conversions, and the customer that uses us is 35% more likely to return to a shopping experience went well if they have used us in the first place. We offer benefits for the whole ecosystem. For the Visa's more acceptance rate, for the issuers, increased card spend, and for the merchants, increased conversions, meaning higher sales and lower card abandons. The business model we have right now is transaction cut, 10 basis points for conversion plus authentication, 55 basis points if we're doing conversion, authentications, and payment processing. We would love to partner with Visa, either to pilot this on Click to Pay or to integrate this on top of CyberSource Payment Gateway, one of Visa's main payment processors. Visa, we would love to have this opportunity to change the way people authenticate payments, increase conversions for all your merchants, increase card spend, and then offer this in CEMEA regions and beyond. My name is Mohammed Zago. We're very excited to be here, and we're on a mission to transform payment authentication. Thank you.
Great pitch. Thank you, Mohammed. There's nothing more frustrating than a never-ending online checkout process. I love the idea of a biometric checkout process, but let's see what our judges think. Abdullah, do you have any questions for Mohammed?
Thank you, Mohammed. Great presentation. For me, coming from work in a bank, so this is very relevant to what I do. Now, I think your challenge would be the distribution or signing up merchants, and I think you mentioned that you might collaborate with Visa to add it as on their platform. So, what's your plans to embed your solution in payment gateways rather than you go up and signing up each and every merchant?
It's such a great question. So when we started with the lowest end of the value chain, going to the e-commerce because their adoption level is higher and the barrier to entry is lower. We're starting, as in 2 months ago, to sign partnership with the payment aggregators. These are PI licenses, gateways, and those that are able to store the money, and they have thousands of merchants. So we just signed one of them, was one that works in maybe 4 or 5 countries in the GCC. I don't know if I'm able to say names or not. We just heard a partnership with a network that is Meta in Saudi Arabia, and they're interested on seeing how can this help decrease fraud and also eliminate the need for SMS OTPs, especially that we all travel. Sometimes there's a delivery failure and the whole experience becomes frustrating across all the value chain.
Thank you.
Kareem, any questions for Mohammed?
Thank you, Mohammed. A very nice pitch. And I really like how you describe your product. And, you know, when you talk about it, 10 seconds checkout, 10x faster, 3x better than OTP. It's a beautiful 10-second speech, really. And I want to congratulate you as well on the financial returns. So your total revenue over the number of employees and your total revenue over the investment raised is quite impressive. So my question to you is, so I think you really nailed your product. So what do you see as your growth strategy going forward from an R&D perspective, not from client acquisition?
This is such a great point. So right now, the way the product does tokenizations, encryptions, and device binding and biometric authentications. We're trying to transition, and I'm sorry, I'm going to use something more technical, to network tokenizations and offer this for payment gateways, similar to the way that Apple Pay has been able to transform the payment experiences for Apple users. If we manage to do that, we can transform literally every phone devices, mainly Android devices, into an authenticator device that has a token for the card and a biometric authentication for device. And then think about the opportunities. This in a region that has 80 to 85% Android users, they would have access to the same seamless, frictionless, secure payment experience that some of us may be fortunate to have for an Apple device. Thank you. That is such a great question.
Otto, do you have any questions for Mohammed?
Absolutely, Mohammed. That's a very compelling presentation. I really like the solution that you described and the friction that it removes for merchants. That's always a focus area for us. Do you have any patents filed on this technology? What is its uniqueness?
Great point. So we have one that we filed provisional patent, still transform it into utility in the US. We just are starting to file or engage to the lawyers as we speak right now. We're starting to file another patent for the biometric binding itself. This idea of linking different tokens, one for the device identity and one for the user identity into one token. And I think we see a potential for maybe another patent. To be very honest, the feedback that we have been having in the market has us focused more on the go-to-market, the distribution, and the growth. It's just that we think that we need to protect the IP as well. But I don't know, maybe there's a tough, delicate balance between the two.
Oleg, do you have any questions for Mohammed?
Yes. Hi, Mohammed. It
Hi,
was
Oleg.
a great speech. It was a great speech. Do I understand correctly that you are competing with Apple Pay and Google Pay, since their tokens also contain similar information? And how will you attract users in that case?
Thank you. When we started, the competition with Apple Pay probably was the more prominent question that everyone asked. One of our early responses to that is that first, not everyone has an Apple device. And so you look in the region where we operate, the Apple distribution is about 20%. The other thing is that not all issuers accept Apple Pay because of the way Apple Pay works. The third thing is that Apple authentication journey is limited to Apple software and Apple hardware, meaning that if you have a Chrome browsers on your MacBook or a tablet, you're not able to use Apple Pay. And so the competitive edge that we had is that it works across all platforms and across all devices. In terms of acquiring customers, the bigger the merchants, so we're building a two-sided network. The more merchants come, the more users have. We just started to move from a medium-sized merchants into some of the giga merchants in the regions. We're able to bring some of these international brands who are very interested to enhance their conversions, accepting with the locally issued cards. And so we just signed with probably one of the biggest electronic brand. They have presence probably across the world as well, but we're only focused on the part where we're actually licensed, which is Saudi Arabia and the UAE.
All right. Thank you, Mohammed, and thank you, judges. Next up, please welcome Coyote Jasu of Vendi. Vendi enables businesses in Africa to accept payments from their online and offline customers, providing a critical alternative to payments, particularly for those in poor or low coverage areas. Without further delay, Coyote, best of luck. The mic is yours, so take it away.
Hello everyone, my name is Coyote Disu, CEO at Vendi. Vendi simplifies the way businesses accept offline and social commerce payments in Africa. Africa is a paradox. On one hand, 90% of MSME transactions are done by cash due to the low penetration of internet access and smartphones. On the other hand, social commerce is growing rapidly. WhatsApp businesses widely used. However, businesses cannot accept payments on WhatsApp, creating room for fraud, errors, and delays. Meet Lola, who runs a retail grocery store and also sells online. She is one of the 90 million MSMEs limited by cash payments. Her current constraints are time taking to reconcile cash collections and to make those deposits at the bank, fraud cases and fake alerts, and lack of access to affordable credit. We have built a unified payment interface that displays all the payer sources of value. This is possible because of our direct integration to banks and telcos. Leveraging our UPI, we provide a simple process for the business. Lola just inputs the payer's phone number and the amount to be paid on the Vendi app, and a payment request is sent to the payer's phone for authorization. We secure our transactions with multi-factor authentication services like Verified by Visa and other tokenization methods. The payer doesn't need to download any app. Their phone number is all that is required. Vendi is simple and fast. In addition, the payer can add their cards and get instant loans from our partners. We can serve a broad range of customers, from physical retail stores and online businesses to large enterprises and institutions. Signing up on Vendi is easy once your documentation meets our KYB process. For the offline customer, Lola will input the customer's phone number and the amount. Then she will initiate a prompt via USSD similar to SMS to the customer's phone. The customer will receive a request to pay, and once confirmed, we will see the list of all their accounts. They will select where to pay from and authorize the transaction with a PIN. Similarly, a customer can complete this same payment via WhatsApp, which is cross-border and scalable across multiple markets. See the impact of Vendi on Lola's business. She can track her performance, access affordable capital, and simplify her payment process as she expands to more regions. Lola pays a commission on transaction and pays some charges on value-added services. We also earn from third-party loans provided through Vendi. We founded Vendi 18 months ago, and we're part of the Y Combinator Winter 22 batch. We are currently in private beta, but have run tests and pilots in Kenya and with MTN in Nigeria, where we have processed over $15 million worth of transactions in 9 months. The potential to scale Vendi across Africa will only be made possible with partnerships like Visa's. With Visa Direct APIs, we can scale up instant settlements and payouts for our merchants. We will issue Visa debit cards for our virtual accounts, which will help drive inclusion and access to capital for the unbanked. We'll also adopt Visa's tokenization services to ensure security of all transactions. For businesses like Lola's, this means she can grow our online business and spend less time dealing with fraud. We see the potential for Vendi when we look at other UPIs like Pix of Brazil and BHIM of India, who are the platforms powering WhatsApp Pay in those regions today. Join us as we make all merchant payments in Africa faster and easier, and help us bring more Africans into the financial system. Thank you.
Amazing job, Coyote. Vendi sounds like an incredible solution, one that tackles a common problem that we see across CEMEA and globally. And it's great to see your focus on driving inclusion to the payment system. Leila, can we start with you, please? Any questions for Coyote?
Sure. Coyote, thank you very much for your pitch. Obviously, micro businesses have been a big focus for many players. So, and we've seen many players emerging to serve those micro businesses. How do you see yourself differentiating from other competitors? And we've seen a lot of this competition in Africa specifically.
Okay. First of all, our focus is on small businesses. And what our solution does is that by leveraging partnerships and integrations, we have connections across Africa. Today, we have connections to 20 mobile money companies in 10 African markets. And therefore, for merchants in those markets, we can provide payments for their customers right there, right? Furthermore, if you look at how do we differentiate ourselves from other fintechs, we think that it's really about the approach. Most other fintechs have also come up with like offline solutions. However, some of them take longer steps. Some of them require you to go online first before you then go offline. What Vendi has done is that Vendi has simplified that process and shortened those steps to about 3 clicks.
Okay, thank you.
Abdullah, any questions for Coyote?
Yeah, thanks for that presentation. Maybe I missed this one. How would the payer or the buyer pay? Does he use his airtime balance with the telco to pay, or how does he get the payments done?
Okay, so our connections to the banks and mobile money operators allows the buyer to pay from their account or wallet. All right, so when a buyer wants to make a payment, all the buyer needs to do is provide their phone number to the business. The business will then send a payment request to them, which they can receive on their phones like an SMS for the offline customers. And then for the online customers, they can actually receive that via WhatsApp. All right, we're actually pioneering WhatsApp payment in Africa, whereby you can complete the entire payment process in WhatsApp. Okay, so that payment is actually made from either the wallet, the mobile money wallet, or the bank account.
And that also can be done offline as well.
Oh yes. So for offline, offline today, we do a bank account, mobile money wallets. But for the online customers, we do bank accounts, mobile money wallets, cards, and other cryptocurrencies.
Corinne, I'd like to hear any questions you have for Coyote.
Well, I'm going to jump again on Layla's question, Coyote, and I need you to tell me what is your secret sauce. You know, it's a very saturated market today. It's very crowded. So what is really your 3X factor? What makes you so different versus the rest? So I understand you target micro companies. So what else? Are you 3 times cheaper, 10 times faster?
Okay. So first of all, I think it's convenience in terms of steps. Like I said, typically a payment process takes about 7-8 clicks to complete the process. So if you look at other fintech and other solutions out there, Vendi has reduced that to just 3 clicks. Also, Vendi is cheaper. Typically, when you want to make a payment in Nigeria, for example, for like a transfer, you will pay a charge on USSD cost of 6.98 kobo to the telco, and then you will pay a service fee for the transfer. With Vendi, the end user does not need to pay that service fee. It's actually free.
Otto, do you have a question for Coyote?
Yes, Coyote, thank you. I like how you've integrated the USSD channel into the app experience there so that you can make transactions offline. What is your customer acquisition strategy? i.e., how are you actually acquiring a lot of these SMEs? And I think it goes back to a lot of points that have been made that there are quite a bit of competing solutions out there. What's your differentiating acquisition strategy?
Okay, so we're actually prioritizing social commerce as a low-hanging fruit. And so because this is actually the first time you can complete payment on WhatsApp in Africa, we think that in itself is attractive. Also, we are packaging the product such that, as a SaaS, such that anybody building for the WhatsApp space can actually just take our APIs and consume them, and then that naturally creates a ripple effect and, for the product to grow very rapidly. And also, like I said, the cost implication, to the merchant is way cheaper for our service. And this is because of the proprietary integrations that we have with banks that allows us to do this.
Thank you, Coyote. And thank you, judges. I'm so glad that I don't have to answer your questions. Some tough ones there, Coyote. Coyote, you can sit back, relax, and enjoy the rest of the show.
Thank you.
Thank you. I'm excited to now introduce you to Brian Makweba of Veleka. Veleka is a multi-channel retail platform helping businesses improve operational efficiency and cost effectiveness, providing critical multi-access to the digital finance sector, in particular for SMEs and spaza shops. It's really great to see Veleka foster the growth of entrepreneurs in Africa. And Brian joins us in the CEMEA regional finals, having recently won the Everywhere Initiative finals in South Africa. Over to you, Brian.
Good day. My name is Brian from Veleka Platform, where we enable and empower the informal economy. Informal businesses are the lifeblood of Africa. They provide essential goods to the communities in which they service. However, they face a lot of problems that make them highly inefficient. Firstly, they are cash-based. Secondly, they also do not get the aggregation, the power of aggregation because they work in silos. And thirdly, because they are informal businesses, they also work inefficiently. This is Jabu, one of the merchants that is serviced by Vulega. Although Jabu is trying to grow his business, he has faced these problems that I have mentioned. The Vulega platform comes in to assist Jabu in a number of ways. By bulk buying, giving him access to credit, giving him the last mile distribution, as well as a cashless payment solutions. How it works is that Jabu places the orders of goods that he sells either through our network of on-the-ground agents, through our WhatsApp channel, through our mobile app. We, in the back end, aggregate the orders that he's placed. We bulk buy, we do the warehousing, and the last mile distribution. Jabu then pays us using his mobile wallet. In doing all of this, we are able to create a profile for Jabu, know how much he buys and he pays, even though some of his payments are in cash, and we're able to provide him with credit. In working with us, Jabu has been able to, on average, save 10% on the goods that he ordinarily would have bought, and he's been able to increase his profit margin by 13%. Not only that, we have been able to create a digital footprint for him and advance in stock on terms or through a credit facility. Jabu is not the only person that is facing this in Africa. This is a market that is worth over 800 billion, with about 174 billion in sub-Saharan Africa. In working with us, we have been able to increase Jabu's minimum order to about 2,500 Rand, and we've been able to get over 7,000 of people like Jabu. Our company has also been able to achieve a 20% year-on-year growth, and through our credit facility, we've only had a minimum of a 2% delinquency rate. 10% of our transactions are also done through this credit facility. Although we have been able to do this, we can do more with the Visa partnership. By understanding that Jabu gets most of his payments in cash, if we introduce a virtual wallet that goes not only to Jabu but to his customers, we are able to change the buying behavior from Jabu's customers to Jabu himself. Issuing them with a Visa branded card also allows these people to swipe this card at Jabu's Visa branded or Vulega branded POS. Using a couple of APIs, we are also then able to make sure that Jabu gets his cash immediately, which has been the hindering factor for a lot of informal businesses in trying to move them from cash to digital payments. Vulega shares Visa's vision of actually moving people from cash payment to digital payment. And with your help, we are able to help a lot of businesses like Jabu. Thank you.
Great presentation, Brian, and impressive traction. Now to the hard part and questions from our judges. Oleg, can we start with you, please? Any questions for Brian?
Yes. Brian, nice presentation. Thank you very much. Who are your competitors and how you find the clients?
So we do have a couple of competitors in different parts of Africa. In South Africa alone, we do have about 3 or 4 competitors. One is called Gulula. How we find our clients is by actually going into the markets that we service. As I've mentioned, we do have a network of agents on the ground that go out and onboard clients for us.
Corinne, can we go to you for any questions, please?
Hi. Yes, yes. Well, I want to understand a little bit about your cost structure. So I see you have agents. So they onboard those clients. I believe they had to stay there and keep the data maintained because all of those are informal businesses. So how are you solving this issue?
Okay. So the agents that we have actually live within those areas that we service. So when we get an agent in a certain area, it's someone that lives, and the informal businesses are within walking distance from where they are. The agents also get a commission for every order that they help our informal businesses place. So they don't necessarily have to spend any money in order to actually onboard these clients and to influence them to actually take orders.
Yes, are you today?
So we're a small company of about 30 employees at the moment, and we're growing.
Thank you.
Otto, any questions for Brian?
Absolutely. Brian, thank you. Really like the impact that you're making in the informal merchant segment here. You mentioned that you do extend credit to this merchant segment. How are you funding those credit lines, and how are you managing fraud?
We currently have not extended money or cash in credit. Currently, we're extending only stock. So we're giving them a stock on terms product, and we're building out a facility to be able to give them developmental credit once we're able to develop a relationship with them. Our current credit facility actually comes from a relationship that we built first with the shop owner. And when we do extend the stock and terms products, it's not for the full basket of the shop owner. So we've got a scoring mechanism where, with our scoring mechanism, we give them a certain amount on credit and they still pay a certain amount upfront.
Got it. Thank you.
Leila, do you have any questions for Brian?
Sure. Thank you, Brian. Great pitch and great impact for sure. So you mentioned your competitors. Can you tell us a little bit more? How do you differentiate from your competitors?
Okay, so a lot of our competitors are looking at just the retail part of things, where it's the aggregation or the buying and selling. We've got competitors in different parts of the services that we render. A lot of our competitors are also not looking at, one, the credit aspect, and also a lot of them are not looking at payments. But I think where we differ the most is that a lot of our competitors, when it comes mostly to the payments, where there's their wallets or trying to get the customers or the businesses digital, is that they forget about the customer that buys from the business owner. So there's no way that you can get the business owner to be digital without his customers being digital. And that's where a lot of the wallets and the digital payments go wrong. So if he's still receiving cash, there's no way that he's going to convert and go into digital payments if his customers are not the ones that are actually wanting that type of service.
Okay, thank you.
Abdullah, any questions for Brian?
What's your market share? What's your targeted share going forward? I'm not sure if this is small or big.
In South Africa alone, so because we are only operating in South Africa at the moment, we have about 155,000 registered businesses. Africa has got 10 million. And in South Africa, we are at 7,000 out of this 155,000 that are registered. Yeah.
Okay. Thank you, Brian, and thank you, judges. Last, but by no means least, I'm excited to introduce you to our last pitch from Nelson Asika from iFluence, Africa's first AI-driven influencer marketing platform, offering end-to-end capabilities for this ever-growing sector. And Nelson joins us today from Kenya and is coming back off a recent win at the VEI Kenya edition. Congratulations, Nelson, on earning the last place in the CEMEA regional finals. Over to you for your pitch.
Hi, my name is Nelson Aseka, and I'm the CEO and co-founder at iFluence, where we use the power of AI to drive word of mouth at scale, accelerating customer acquisition, growth, and behavior change for global brands and organizations. People are the new media companies. Influencer marketing is the fastest growing advertising channel today. Last year in the industry in Africa, revenue stood at 750 million and are projected to grow to 2.5 billion by the end of 2026. On average, at iFluence, we do 500 transactions per week, but this is going to grow into 15,000 transactions by the end of this year. But we face a major pain point, where the payment space in Africa is highly fragmented. There's no one solution that fits all. For instance, we've onboarded 13 payment platforms that help us pay influencers across Africa. But first, how did iFluence come about? The idea started in a bar, believe me or not. I successfully grew and scaled a whiskey brand across Kenya and Africa by figuring out that bartenders were the largest influencers. We grew these insights by building iFluence to be able to scale it and bring it to global brands and organizations through using AI to accurately match voices to these brands. In 3 short years, we've been trusted by premium advertisers across the globe, including the US government. We are now working in 21 countries across Africa, Asia, and Europe. But in the course of our work, we've encountered a major challenge where hundreds of thousands of youths are looking to get into the creator economy in Africa. For instance, meet Jane. She wants to be a creator. But like many budding creators, Jane struggles with finding tools and resources, finding customers, finding the right payment solution, and financial literacy as a budding entrepreneur. We have the solution. We are building Africa's first Creators Hub, which is a platform that will upskill creators to global standards, connect these creators with jobs, but most importantly, grow these creators into sustainable businesses. In this exciting project, we are looking to work with Visa as our anchor partner because of highly aligned objectives. In the case of Visa, Visa is looking to empower creators. Visa is looking to expand its customer base in Africa and strengthen its brand equity across the region. To scale this opportunity, we'll be working with strategic partners such as social media platforms and brands. Today, TikTok and YouTube have committed to the program, and brands such as MTN Group, Diageo, Safaricom want in on the program as soon as we start it. Visa will be our payment partner using the Visa Direct API and also offer financial literacy masterclasses to creators in the program. Our objectives is to onboard 15,000 creators by the end of 2024 in the pilot phase in Kenya and scale it to Africa, onboarding 150,000 creators with annual volume transactions of over 180 million by end of 2026. We firmly believe that Visa needs to be a part of how we grow this creator economy in Africa, and I urge you to join us today to create and empower the youth of this continent. Thank you.
Fabulous work, Nelson. It's great to see such specialized support and capabilities for the creators and influencers, a segment that's absolutely been booming this year. You must tell us more about that bar story one day and how this all started. Now over to our judges for some Q&A. Corinne, do you have a question for Nelson?
Well, I wish I was Jane. That's the easiest I can say. So, Nelson, so what's your client retention plan, and how are you going to make sure that your clients do not bypass the platform once they find the solution?
So, and that's easy. So one of the major problems that clients face today is managing influencers. It's a hell lot of work. And, imagine having 50 random people from everywhere and trying to manage all of them. It's a major problem. And it's one of the things we built our solution for. So up to today, they are so happy to have this off their hands because we manage end to end from identification to management to payment. So
it's more. So I'm going to ask my question in a different way. So how easy is it to reverse engineer your platform?
So it's so like I said, the platform was built out of my experience, building this whiskey brand across Africa, and this. Actually, the platform is based on that story. So I call it I'll mention the name is the Jameson story because I built Jameson in Kenya and went ahead to build it in Africa by figuring out that bartenders are the biggest influencers. So I'm able to use the platform to find the influencer for every brand.
Oleg, would love to hear from you if you have a question.
Hi, Nelson. Great speech. I like all technologies which uses AI. By the way, do you use ChatGPT or similar model, and how?
Okay, so we haven't incorporated ChatGPT yet, but it's in our product roadmap because we will, during this courses, when we're upskilling creators, we'll be able to use ChatGPT to help them create content that really resonates with the target audience, and ChatGPT would help in that. But currently, the technologies we're using is neural networks. For instance, we can scan millions of photos and pick objects within these images. So for instance, if you want to know this person is actually, say, a Nike enthusiast, we'll be able to pick the Nike logos from these images. And then we use natural language processing to study the captions that accompany these photos to better understand what are these people talking about this brand, what's their perceptions, what's their sentiment. And so this gives us a really good data-driven approach to be able to drive impactful messaging that really relates to the target audience.
Thank you.
And finally, Leila, do you have a question for Nelson?
Sure. Hi, Nelson. I think as a mom of a 12-year-old who believes strongly that she is a creator, what you're saying speaks extremely well. I wanted to ask you, how do you differentiate yourself from the bigger agencies, like the bigger marketing agencies that provide similar services to the brands you're talking about?
That's a very good question. And the funny thing, I'll have you know that both brands and agencies are suffering from getting the right creators and who have quality content. So today, we've been signed up by WPP Canada, we've been signed up by Ogilvy to help them find these creators and work for the brands. Yeah.
You work with them?
We work with them, so on a revenue share kind of arrangement. Yeah.
Thank you.
Nelson, thank you very much. And judges, thank you very much. Wow. Thank you, startups, for those fantastic pitches. It was great to see such a diverse set of solutions and incredible fintechs compete in this year's Visa Everywhere initiative. The judges are now going to deliberate on the 5 pitches and select this year's winner. As mentioned at the start of the show, it's now time for you, our audience, to have your say and select the audience favorite. In a moment, a QR code will pop up on your screen where you can cast your vote for your favorite pitch. The startup with the most audience votes will win $10,000. So please make sure you have your say. You'll have 2 minutes starting from now. Go, get your votes in. Thank you very much for casting your audience favorite votes. The submissions are now closed, and we will shortly find out which one of our 5 finalists have won. Before we find out who has won the audience favorite and also the overall first prize, I'm very excited to give you a quick overview of the FinTechs Innovating in Risk Excellence Award, also known as FIRE. FIRE is a newly added competition introduced for 2023 and a global first for Visa Everywhere initiative. This competition was set up specifically to identify fintechs whose products include security or risk elements that can revolutionize the payments landscape, with a winner taking home $25,000, as well as the opportunity to work with Emirates NBD Banking Group. Before we unveil this year's winner, let's watch a short recap of the FIRE finals.
The Visa Everywhere initiative is really all about how Visa can support innovation and encourage innovation with all the talent that is out there in the market in the fintech community, right? So we've got such fantastic innovators, people bringing out new products, new ideas, technology, solutions. How can we bring them into the mainstream and really give them the opportunity to showcase? The FIRE Award is a special edition of the Visa Everywhere initiative, which is about fintechs innovating in risk excellence. The criteria we've used in FIRE, they should be relevant to real world problems that we're trying to solve. They should allow and enable the ecosystem to be more safe. Really, banks, financial institutions should find them attractive. So we are firmly committed and we will continue to ensure our commitment in the space. Working with partners like Emirates NBD is incredibly important because it allows us to bring solution providers and a solution consumer together. It allows the financial institution to maybe go in a domain or explore areas that they haven't explored before. So I think this is how we create value for all the partners.
Emirates NBD, we continue to work with global leaders like Visa. We are always at the forefront of innovation. So that's in the DNA of the organization, and that's one of the core values for Emirates NBD now. So I know that they've got a lovely cash prize of $25,000, which will help them enhance their solution products. But more importantly, at Emirates NBD, we are extremely eager to receive them in UAE, work with them, understand. We've already got some ideas going in the last few months when we've been talking to some of these fintechs. So the idea would be to get them in, sit with the product team, sit with the risk team, sit with the fintech team, digital partnership teams, try and see what best we can work with them over the next few years, right? To ensure that we look for these opportunities, collaborate, and ensure that we win together.
It was a great event with incredibly strong finalists. I would now like to welcome Charles Lobo, Senior Vice President and Regional Risk Officer for Visa CEMEA, and Bharat Aravamadhan, Head of Cards at Emirates NBD, to announce the winner of this year's FIRE Award.
Thank you, Alex. This year was a really terrific competition, I must say. We saw some really exciting fintechs competing hard to win the first ever FIRE Award as part of the Visa Everywhere Initiative 2023. I've seen and witnessed a lot of the presentations from all the finalists, and it was really exciting to see some of the terrific solutions that they were thinking of and presenting to all of us. Innovating in risk is incredibly important to maintain the security of the payments and financial ecosystem. So I'm really excited to see what this year's winner is going to achieve. And for that, I want to turn over to Bharat. Bharat, over to you to announce the winner of the first FIRE Award.
Thank you, Charles. To echo Charles's points, risk and security are such an important part of the finance industry, and it was great to see the level of competition and innovation happening in this sector. Without further ado, it's my absolute pleasure to announce the FIRE 2023 winner, Sensity. Congratulations, Giorgio. Tell us, how does it feel to be the first ever winner of this new competition?
Bharat, thanks so much. Thanks so much. I'm feeling very humble. Thanks everybody for this decision today. I'm sure it was a difficult one given the level that you guys have been judging today. I feel really thrilled. Thanks for the trust in me, in my team, and Sensity. Thanks again. Thank you.
Thank you, Charles, and thank you, Bharat. And congratulations again, Giorgio at Sensity. Well done, dude. We're super happy for you. Right, let's get back to the main event, and where we'll find out who this year's audience favorite and ultimate Visa Everywhere Initiative 2023 winner is. Congrats again to our risk winner, Sensity. I'm pleased to welcome back our 5 finalists and Leila Sahan, Senior Vice President and General Manager for North Africa, Levant and Pakistan region at Visa, to announce today's audience favorite. And as a reminder, the audience favorite will take away $10,000 in prize money. Leila, over to you to announce today's audience favorite.
Thank you, Alex. And before announcing the audience favorite, I just want to say how impressed I was with each of the pitches today. It's really great to see the fantastic work that you're doing, but also the real problems that you are trying to address and solve across the region. And I think making it already to the regional final is a big testament to your businesses, and you should be very, very proud. So without further ado, it is time now to announce, as Alex said, the audience favorite winner. And the startup with the most votes from our audience goes to Nelson from Effluence.
Oh.
So Wilson, Nelson, congratulations. So I can see you're very happy. I'm not going to ask you how do you feel, but who are you going to call first now that you won this award?
I'll run straight to my. I was waiting to hear. Yeah, but
This
really,
is great.
I'm really very honored and humbled to be, named as the audience favorite, and really grateful for the audience out there for this award. I'm really, really grateful.
Congratulations, Nelson.
Way to go, Nelson. How are you celebrating? Are we going to hear about that bar story once and for all?
I think we need to do that bar story cleared out there. So I get to get together and just the driving force behind what we've been able to achieve to date. So yeah, we shall a happy moment together.
Brilliant. Well, really, really well done. Thank you very much for your pitch, and congratulations again. Now, the main prize and what we've all been waiting for. Please welcome back Otto Williams, Senior Vice President, Head of Product, Partnerships and Digital Solutions at CEMEA, to announce today's overall prize winner, who will take home $20,000 of prize money and have a place at this year's Visa Everywhere Initiative Global Finals, taking place in San Francisco later in the year. Otto, over to you.
Thank you, Alex. Before we announce the winner, I would first of all like to thank all our judges for joining us and helping to decide the winner of the CEMEA Regional Finals Visa Everywhere Initiative. Additionally, I do also want to say a huge thank you to all our fintechs. You all did a great job pitching your businesses and solutions, and very well done. Now, given the strength of all of our finalists, this was a really tough decision. However, there can only be one winner. And after careful deliberations, the judges have decided that the CEMEA Regional Finals Visa Everywhere Initiative winner is Chibuzo from Drugstock.
Oh, wow. Oh, wow.
Big congratulations, Chibuzo. And I'm actually going to ask, how are you feeling given this win?
So I can hear you. Can you hear me?
Chibuzo, I think we lost you there for a minute. I said a big congratulations on the win. We're very, very excited to see this, and this was very competitive. How are you feeling?
Overwhelmed, excited, Surprised, most of all, excited and very happy.
Excellent.
Yeah, I mean the competition was strong. It was a lot of fantastic companies, and I feel just very humbled that we got selected to go to the next stage. Thank you guys. This is amazing.
Well, congratulations. You're going to San Francisco.
Wow.
And from my side, I wanted to know, Chibuzo, who do you want to thank? You know, you've been on a mission, a real journey. Is there anyone you would like to thank today?
So first of all, I'd like to thank my team members. I mean, all of this stuff I talk about, it's really them. You know, I just sit in front of the cameras and look nice. The smart people are the ones in the team pushing every day. And then obviously my family who tolerate my crazy dreams and have supported me throughout this journey. My wife, my kids, my siblings. I mean, it's humbling. Thank you, everybody.
Well, really, really well done from us all. Thank you very much for your pitch today, and congratulations again. I'm sure you'll all agree that the Visa Everywhere Initiative 2023 did not disappoint, and we witnessed some truly outstanding fintechs battle it out to be crowned the regional CEMEA 2023 winner. A massive congratulations is in order once more for all of our deserving winners and finalists. Your dedication and hard work has truly paid off, and it's inspiring. Thank you also to our judges for taking the time to participate in this event and share your feedback. It really would not have been possible without you. And lastly, to our incredible audience, thank you for being part of the 2023 CEMEA Visa Everywhere Initiative. Once again, I'm Alex McRae, and it's been an absolute pleasure hosting you today, and I look forward to seeing you again soon. Thank you.